So I'm here with Agne P, and I really want to dig in with her on her journey as an entrepreneur, her journey as someone who's passionate about making a difference in the world, um, and as a former student of the accelerator and of my coaching programs, and now a partner and friend. I've asked her to come on and just sit with me and talk a little bit about her journey and share that with you. So thank you so much for spending, my morning this time with me, telling us about your experience.
Thank you for the invitation and opportunity to share.
I'm really excited about the work that you're doing. I think it's something, well, one, it's something that you've introduced to me, which has done so much for me personally, and my business, in the work that you do, and we'll get into that. But I think it's a fascinating journey of not only what you do, but as it is with everyone who's really driven, at their core to do something. How did you know that you really wanted to start a business? How did you really know that you were meant to do something meaningful in your work and start a business? Where did that start?
Well, so first of all, for a very, very long time, I had this feeling that I don't know who I am. And I was searching for myself in different ways. First, in that level, from the perspective of what job would I do or what business could I do? And like business people were always kind of motivating me. And so I created that idea that success has to be like through business. Working a normal job is far from success in my world then. But then I wasn't sure of what I want to do and how I want to do things. But I had very deep feeling of I'm here in this on this earth to do something big. And that was driving me crazy because I couldn't figure out who I am. So how can I do the big thing when I don't know who I am?
Mm-hmm.
There was a big conflict within. And at some point when I got that clarity or understanding who I really am, and that changed the perspective of what success is in general, right? All my paradigm kind of changed and flipped in that space. But so now business for me, it is more like a way to change the world. It's not a way to be successful and make money and have a nice car. That doesn't matter anymore. But like to impact the world, it is still through business that I can achieve.
So can we go back to that feeling, right? So that you said you just knew you were supposed to build, you were meant to build something bigger,
big,
do
yeah.
something bigger.
Yeah.
What did that feel like to you? Just this like feeling that?
Yeah, it was just a feeling, and it was, my kind of beliefs or the way I was, there was so much lack of confidence and disbelief in myself, or I'm not good enough, and many aspects of that. But at the same time, I was feeling that there is such a big thing for me to achieve that, like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just like the feeling that was driving me.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, in that contrast, it was driving me crazy.
Yeah. And the driver for you was, I've got to figure out who I am.
Yes.
Before you can.
That would be the first step. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Did you think of it as potential? That you had a lot of potential to do something?
Yes, for sure.
And was it that not knowing who you were was standing in the way?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we kind of, moved over that to connect on the entrepreneurial journey, but this uncovering and getting clarity on who you were, how did that come up for you? Because
So
I think it's an integral part of your story.
oh yeah, for sure. I spent like at least 15 years in self-development journey, all self-help books, and I could get a PhD from watching YouTube videos, all the motivation videos, and finding the way to fix myself and understand myself in comparing with other people or their perspectives and all that. So I was searching first in the mental level, then with time it went into the spiritual realm or that connection, searching for my higher self and that representation. So that was quite a journey. And so how I found myself or discovered myself, I still, it was through search of what I want to do as business or work in my life. I thought I would like to become a RTT therapist, rapid transformational therapy. And so there was an opportunity to be trained in that, and it sounded really cool. But I wanted to see and experience that as a client. So I went for the session, and I came out of that session transformed, I can say. That confidence changed, and the connection with my higher self kind of happened or clicked in that time, and things were evolving so fast and in so amazing ways from that day. And as well, your work or like your program helped me to become more clear in what I want to do or how I want to do consciously in the mental level. But then at the same time, my inner world was changing so fast that I went into deep search, and anyway I found the tool to do what I want to do.
Right.
I mean, I found the tool to change the world.
Right.
And that was like the most amazing period, because everything clicked in that time. Yeah, so.
And what has the journey of entrepreneurship looked like from even before then? So you joined the program before you discovered quantum healing. You were exploring RTT, I think, rapid transformational, right as you were joining the program, or right before? I'm not sure.
It was before, yeah.
Yeah.
I joined the program like a year ago, and by then I was already writing my blog and sharing my crazy stories about personal experience.
Yeah, and you had decided, so when you decided that you would take the steps towards becoming an entrepreneur, you tell us about how you connected this search, right? This personal development and search for purpose in your life, understanding who you were, right, to a business. So what clicked between, I need to figure myself out, I need to do something bigger, right? But first I need to understand who I am, to I'm ready to start taking action on my business.
Yeah, so from the beginning, I had that understanding that business is freedom, and I can choose what I want to do only if I'm the one deciding and calling the shots. And if I'm employed, that is very limited. So that's why I was focusing on the business, and I tried different things that naturally didn't work because it wasn't my passion or it wasn't aligned with my purpose in that way.
Okay.
So I was looking at it, like that was so in alignment that I wanted to do the business, but in order to connect that with my passion and so it becomes my life work, not the hard job. I mean, I needed to connect those things. and so on.
Did you struggle with who to serve? And, before you really understood how you were going to show up with quantum healing, did you um, did you struggle with understanding what exactly your business was going to be?
So yeah, even when I joined your program, I didn't know anything. I didn't know quantum healing by then.
Sure.
So that was also part of understanding myself and who I want to serve without even having the tool.
Mm-hmm.
But that helped me to understand that whatever I do has to come from within, based on my values, my beliefs. So if that is aligned, then no matter what tools I use, it will
Yeah.
be successful or will be satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah. Really have that to find fulfillment in your
Mm.
business. Yeah. And when you discovered quantum healing, how did that unlock clarity to kind of move forward for
Mm.
you?
Yeah, it went exponentially. Well, really, when I got to know about it and read a bit about it, I thought like, wow, this process does the magic, and I knew this is the way to accomplish um, my goals, or like to live my purpose, to help people to transform their lives and like awaken and connect to their higher self. So that was the tool. When I did experience that myself, it went even more strong in that understanding. So as I was evolving with quantum healing as a myself and my understanding and consciousness and all that, uh, it was just like more and more obvious that my business will be so much more meaningful with this. Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I remember, such an explosion of your understanding of what that bigger purpose of your
Mm.
business was for you and building that in. Um, Now, from that point on, you've been really constructing what that business is going to look like. And of course, it's evolved, right? Um, what has the evolution of strategy and building your business and those cycles of chaos and clarity looked like for you over the past year? Because I think a lot of people have this idea of what entrepreneurship should look like, if they're really destined to put this business out there into the world, to put their impact out into the world. If they're a change maker, they should get clarity and then be able to put all the pieces together and build it and go, if they're meant to do it, if they're really the change maker. And I
Mm.
call bullshit on that,
Oh yeah.
right? Because it doesn't look like that, especially if you're a change maker. And you can be really, really, really clear on some things, right? And not have visibility into some of these other parts that
Mm.
we need to evolve into,
Mm.
right? Clarity is a process, not a gift.
Right.
And it's,
It's a journey, right?
I want to repeat that again. I think clarity is a process, not a gift. The gift is in there, right? The gift that you're a change maker, it's that feeling, it's that translating that feeling into articulation over time and being able to put it into action. And then there's the layer of entrepreneurship, right? So our purpose and impact is one thing, translating that to a business is another. And it's, merging those two things together is a beast sometimes. It's not a linear path. Entrepreneurship is never a linear path. If it's a linear path, you're probably doing it wrong. Um, you know, so
Mm.
so just how has the experience been for you over the past year of, right from the very beginning of like, I'm not sure exactly what this looks like. I don't even have the tools that I want to use yet, but I know that this is something that I'm meant to do in the world, to where you are now. And where you are now, I would call right at the formally kind of putting the structure and offer in its different forms really out there into the world and looking beyond that into some scale. Um, so yeah, so how would you describe the past year
Yeah, so it
of
is
launching?
kind of a roller coaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, usually the expectation is like, when I figure this out, I get it done, and then it floats, right?
Right.
So it didn't work like that. And
And I haven't seen one entrepreneur that has been true for. So
well, yeah, so funny, but I was kind of, because again, I was evolving myself as a personality through the process of the business, that on top even like puts more change and adjustment necessary for me to figure things out. So as I was getting more clear about myself, what I want to do, I needed to figure out who I want to serve. So how the client journey, right, that we did, and the stages there in that journey. And at some point, I was called to work with that level of people. And I started working, and still trying to figure out my message, how to present myself, putting that piece together. And before I completed that step, I'm like, no, this people doesn't feel right anymore. I want the next level.
Because you evolved in the process of actually going and evaluating where you wanted to serve. Like you personally evolved.
Exactly, yeah.
This is such a huge challenge for entrepreneurs in this like explosive stage of personal growth. It's really, I would guess, a universal challenge, right? For those committed to personal growth and this particular stage of feeling to getting clarity to taking action. There's such a huge explosion of personal growth, and for you especially, right? But for all of us in that space, right? We have to contend with us evolving so quickly and trying to figure out where we want to serve our niche, and who we want to serve. And it's such a period of rapid growth that that adds another layer of challenge to it. So I'm glad you brought that up.
It's true. And I remember like there was one exercise that we had to do of like the vision, I think, or mission, I'm not sure, but like I had to imagine how many people would I help by doing this, my work.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God,
Your
how many
audacious
people?
goal.
I was counting on my,
yeah.
So I couldn't imagine like if I help 1,000 people, that's a lot. And now I'm like,
how many? Now how many do you envision serving?
Half of the world. I mean, as long as if I impact people who do impact other people, then that impact is endless and limitless. And that's how I want to, that's why my ideal client kind of changed over time. Because if I do one-on-one work, is limited. I want to work in groups. I want to spread this. I mean, teach people who will teach others to do those things. Yeah. So, I mean, that impact from my perspective had to grow fast.
Yeah. Well, you shifted from serving the individual, right, in their personal experience. So we make a distinction in the course between serving locally or serving, kind of more at that global level. And I call that the so that. So we either, kind of decide, at least initially, right, that our intention is to serve an individual in their personal growth, right? So whatever, their idea is, even if it's from, I'm a wedding photographer and my objective is to serve this niche so that their happy and fulfilled with the outcome, right? To coaching, where your objective is to evolve that individual to get what they want, right? That's kind of like this local level to help them get what they want, right? And, maybe that's a very specific thing that you help all of your clients do, right? This personal liberation or to lose weight or whatever, right? And then there's the mission of a so that, right? Where you're actually unlocking something in an individual that has a compounding impact to the rest of the world or to many other people. And yeah, it's just this much bigger potential. So your mission is beyond serving the individual. Your mission is actually to impart this other bigger impact in the world. But what's required to do that is the evolution or the unlocking or the results in an individual. If that makes sense. So
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see, from my perspective, you can see it like early. And, Agne, you're like one of those people who are like, no, I really want them to, get this result for themselves. And this is one of those cases where your evolution personally went from here to here and crossed the line to this is this bigger vision that I really see for the world, right? And you had a piece of it earlier in the process, but after quantum healing, your vision became very clear.
Oh yeah.
And that so that, right, became very dominant, right? And that, just helping the individual wasn't enough. It was a clear, like, so that this happens in the world.
Yeah, as much
and
as
I just get super excited when that happens.
Yeah, as much as it is satisfying to work with individuals and see their transformation.
Yeah.
I need this to go way beyond that for me to feel really fulfilled in the process.
Yeah. And it's cool when you think about business, right? And your capability, and what compounding impact or cascading transformation happens with one business. Right? We often think like, oh, I'm one person, how many people can I really impact? Right? When you think of, you're doing the math, back of the napkin math on, okay, well, if I impact 1,000 people, that's going to be amazing. But when you really think about what one person can accomplish in a business, forget about scale, forget about, right? When you look at the so that, when you look at that compounding, effect that you have, even if your intention is just to provide transformation for those individuals, right? Even if you don't have this bigger vision and a bigger mission attached to how many people you really want to impact and the result you want to get in the world, right? It's there. It's doing that, right?
For sure.
Yeah. What is the biggest challenge for you, Ben? Still to this day?
Good question. Want to look up now. I think not enough time to do everything I want to do. That's one.
Yes.
And probably another aspect that I'm so kind of into that creative mode all the time. So to do the things that I come up with is not as fun as to create the things in my head.
High five, I'm with you. I was just talking to my husband about that the other day. It doesn't get easier,
visionary.
You're a visionary. And most of the people, in this sphere are visionaries. And it's way more fun to live in the space of creating and envisioning and strategy even, and distracted by new possibilities and new ways to do it, and even new niches, right? Because there are a bunch of niches that we would be perfectly happy and fulfilled serving, right? It's just a different way to do it. You have to look at what's aligned. Once you do that, though, you still have to make decisions about who you serve, because there are a number of people that you could serve in different ways and be incredibly fulfilled doing it. But we have to pick a path. And as visionaries, geez, it's tough because, like, there are so many shiny things out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
In that, I don't know. I don't have an answer for how to make that go away, other than, be proud to be a visionary and bring in the people that are the how people, because visionaries are why people. Visionaries are
Mm.
like, you know, um, yep, that's a challenge.
I think that would, like, as business evolves, because now I'm alone doing everything by myself.
Yep,
So it's hard to do all those practical things when I'm so much in the, possibilities
yep,
in my head. But then if the structure of business is growing and there are people who can do the things and I don't need to do those,
mhm,
I can stay in that space and be very productive of creating the ideas and ways and
mhm,
pathways to
yeah,
achieve those goals.
yeah, and that's the role of a leader, right?
Yeah.
And so the challenge is getting from here, where you're in the business instead of running the business, right?
Mhm.
In and running. So you have the two roles, um, to get to the point where you have,
Yeah,
that
it
support
can
where
be
you have.
hustle to the point. But the thing is that I've kind of was thinking one a few days ago, like I have so much to do, like so many things on my to-do list and still waiting. But it's not that I'm stressed about it. I enjoy every single moment because I follow my purpose. I do the thing I love and well, one way or another I'll figure this out.
Mhm.
Because there is no way back or like, oh, I cannot do this anymore. Like that does not exist.
Not an option.
No, it's an option.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an amazing feeling, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
We experience a lot of doubt and fear all over the place, right? Even as, somebody who's constantly evolving and
Mm.
becoming more, right? You know, that roller coaster of clarity and chaos is real, and just part of the process. Um,
Mm.
However, that feeling of moving forward is the only option, that stays there.
Oh yeah.
That stays there. You know, the doubts might be, am I doing this right? Am I going in the right direction? Does this
Mm.
make sense? Right? Like all of those things, are very real. And I think that's, so much of like what building that values lens is. And, of course, the playbook and having a place to go back and look at the clarity.
Mm.
Because visionaries, I think, tend to be very unorganized. I know I am. Right.
Oh
So the
yeah.
clarity sits in like 5 different, or 50 different places in your notebook. Um, and
True.
that brilliant plan, to move forward is 12 pages back now. And how is that going to help you? Um,
Mm.
so yeah, it's a amazing, fun, challenging expedition.
Yeah, I just it came to my mind right now the quote from Einstein, Albert Einstein. Um, Order is for idiots. Geniuses can handle the chaos.
Oh, I love that.
And like,
Love that.
well, I'm not proud of chaos, but that's how I function.
Yeah, I
Mm.
mean, to just simply accept it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's somewhere in between, right? I think there's some
Well,
level of
some
chaos that
aspects.
does need to be
Mm.
managed, right?
Mm.
But understanding, like accepting that it's part of the process, and like the big learning comes on the upside of chaos, like every single freaking time. I mean,
Okay.
every time. If you move through the chaos, there's always big learning that happens on your way back up to clarity again, like huge learning. And it's just
Yes, because
moving through
you
it.
cannot, because you cannot, I mean, have an answer or solution if you don't experience the problem. Well, it's just like evolving from one step to the other. Part of the journey.
What do you what do you want other entrepreneurs who are earlier in the journey than you and just deciding now if now is the right time to take action on the feeling, right? Don't know exactly what it's going to look like. What advice do you have for them?
Now is the only time there is.
Very
And
quantum healing answer.
yeah. Well, yeah. And if you don't start your journey now, then when? I mean, it's quite a cliche quote, but that feeling will not go away. It will just go stronger and stronger within you.
Mm-hmm.
That you need to do something. You are here for a reason, and you, if you don't follow that pull of achieve or towards your purpose, I think that's why people are depressed and anxious, because they are holding themselves back from who they are meant to be or become, right? They have so much potential, all of us.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea how much more we can achieve and accomplish. And my goal overall is just to test what is possible and lead by example, like to show them that if I could do it, anybody can do it. Come on, let's do it together, because anybody can step up and step into their power and achieve whatever they believe,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you don't believe in yourself yet, you need to update your beliefs.
Mm-hmm. At this point in your journey, and sitting here now and having the opportunity with anybody watching this video, I want to provide an opportunity for you to ask the audience of something, right? So given where you are in your journey, and this is a tactical question, right?
Okay.
What do you need most right now in your journey? And that this audience could potentially help you with. And this can be a put out to the universe kind of thing, or like a real tactical, I'm looking to build, my network of coaches out there in the world who have groups that are interested in introducing or introducing quantum healing, or if it's something more general, what would you like to put out there and ask?
So because my main purpose or goal is to help and awaken people. I mean, the more of those light workers that can spread the message around the world, I want to connect to them. That's step one. I just feel that need to, in whatever stage of that journey they will get at some point. They will get to the higher position, but I feel like I want to connect to them, and if I help them to, I mean, the way to step into their potential, then the world becomes a better place. They will have more influence into the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we are currently working with developing the quantum healing training. So
And this is a training for
for
coaches.
facilitators, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and coaches, right? So I will be able to bring the tool, but I need people who are really passionate, who they don't need to have skills, but who have that love and passion for the world, and kind of believe that we can change the world, and there is a way of doing business in another level, not in this hierarchy structure, but supporting each other and sharing your values, sharing your superpowers with each other, and creating more value together for the clients, for whoever needs them. I'm kind of trying to create that shift to the new paradigm of how we function in this world, in society, in business. Right. And I think that's where we are in alignment with you, Melissa. Right.
Yeah,
Because,
absolutely.
I mean, we have all the power and we need to step into that to really bring the change. So I don't know if I answered your question, but if there's anybody out there who has this passion and still maybe don't know exactly how to get to the point, get in touch.
I love
There
that.
might be so many opportunities, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, and I can't say enough about quantum healing. You know, we didn't talk a lot about, you know, my personal experience with quantum healing in here, but, you know, this program allowed me to really connect with my intuition in a way in my business that I'd never been able to do before. And it really, it completely opened up Humanity Inc. for me. And so, you know, it was a big transformation of more of this local impact to a much bigger, you know, really big clarity on what my larger impact would look like, or at least at the next stage. Um, and, you know, that's just one result. You know, there are many that, that kind of were part of this transformation that quantum healing really unlocked for me. So I can't say enough about it, and I won't. You know, I've talked about that in my emails, and it'll continue to be a part of Humanity Inc. because I believe that, you know, our conscious clarity is only one part of it, and Agne, you know, picked up on that earlier. But you know, we have all of this subconscious and unconscious clarity that needs to be broken through as well. And so they work together, you know, in kind of this collective higher state that we need to build capacity. And we have, you know, we need to build capacity in this external piece of us, right? You know, and that's the personal improvement. It's, you know, all of this stuff and learning about business and getting clarity on our values and our mission and our vision, but it doesn't come unless we work on the internal piece as well.
Exactly. I think even the business has to come from inside out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. That transformation happens,
Yes.
you know, simultaneously, and it's quite amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions about quantum healing, I will post Agnes' content, her information in the notes, and you can contact her directly. If you have questions, you know, for me, always reach out. But thank you so much for taking this time with us today. I so appreciate it.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see, you know, how your business evolves and, you know, our partnership and what that looks like, you know, as it grows.
Yeah, it will be amazing. I
Thank you.
promise you that.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's an amazing feeling, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.